How are you?
We have 3 guineas right now, and I'm pretty sure that's the max for our house. Yeah, it'd be really cool.
Yeah, this is year 2.
These are all too far along. Kind of looks like a little koosh ball. They're growing 10 inches a day.
Wow.
In June. So what they do is they're going to grow until the summer solstice is the big turning point for hops, which is about June 20th or 21st. At that point, they either reach the top and bend over, or the daylight changing from longer to shorter. One of those 2 things happens, and that tells the plant to quit growing up and to start put out all these side arms.
Start
And you
flowering.
see, yep, all of these hops are growing on side arms here. So that's one of the things we look for.
Cones before, but I don't know if you guys have ever seen the.
You see leaves. Whereas on our other ones, you really only see cones because the darn beetles are so like drooling. With our local home brewers group, these are fairly small. I'm actually, when you guys leave, going to take a sample in. We send them into a laboratory in Wisconsin, and they'll test the alpha and beta acids to make sure they're in the range. We also do moisture tests. So I come out here and I pick about 100 of them, and you can see that one looks, I mean, that's a nice gold color that we're seeing there. That's the lupulin. So I do a moisture test where basically I pick them, weigh it, and then microwave it on 30-second increments to get it to 0 moisture. And that's a way to, I can figure out the percentages then, figure out what moisture level we're at. And each variety has kind of a target zone. And then our whole house smells like hops. After we do that up. Yeah.
You're giving Jake ideas now.
Yeah. Any of these vines around here, they're not sharp, but they're rough. So that helps them to kind of stick, if you will, and they grow up. So throughout the summer, they grow. We water, we fertilize, we do our best to keep them alive. And then to harvest, we cut the strings at the top and at the bottom. And then there's someone who has a special sort of combine. If any of you have been around farms, so they hook the string on, it pulls the plant in, the hops go out one way, and all the debris goes out another. It's pretty cool, super cool. And then the hops actually get dried, just like corn and beans, and then pelletized. So if you've seen Jake putting them in, they look like rabbit food. And that's because some brewers, I guess, do prefer whole cone, but very few, because they just need to be consolidated so they don't take up so much space. Is that a good way of saying
easier
it?
to store, and they like dissolve in the wort rather than you having to fish them out later.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Hops are a plant that are either male or female. Not many plants are like that, but these are. So we do not have any male plants here because males would cause seeds to produce inside the cones. It would lower the alpha levels, and it would just add weight, which as a brewer you don't really want seeds. You want hops with the lupulin in them. So we have no males. Occasionally you can find a male in the wild. So we are constantly trying new things. So our first year plants, we've marked certain rows that we're not going to harvest. And we'll see if that makes a difference next year. And I think with the Columbias next year, what I'm going to do is we come through and cut all the first set of shoots off of the plants. I'm going to not cut off a couple of rows and see how that affects them. You know, we don't have a lot of research on some of these things for the Midwest to know how to grow them best. You know, most hops come from Oregon, Washington, Idaho. They've got it down. You know, they're in 4th generation hops farms. We're new here, and they're able to start in their fields, I think, in early March. So they just have longer and can do things a little differently.